Let's go to Sarah in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know where that accent's from, but we're going to go with it. What's up, Sarah?
Hi.
How
Dr.
are you?
John, how are you?
So
I'm
good.
fine. How are you?
I say so good.
Sorry.
It's great. I've got coffee. I work in the air conditioning, and we're doing okay. How about you?
Good. Doing fine.
So what's up?
I'm calling because one of our dogs was recently diagnosed with cancer, and I'm wondering how to best handle it with my young kids.
Oh, great question. How old are your kids?
Well, in particular, my son. He's 4.5. He'll be 5 in February. So my daughter's 2, so she's not my biggest concern. It's more him that I'm concerned with.
Wow. Tell me about this dog.
Oh, he's the best. We've had him. He's 10.5. He's a pity boxer mix, and he's just super sweet and loving, and he's honestly like the best dog we could have ever gotten. So
That's so great. And was it just a ride or die through the birth of your kids too?
oh yeah. Yeah, he's been a protector, and he cuddles them and loves them and kisses them and loves them.
So we deal with a lot of hard stuff on this show. This may be the closest I get to tearing up. Okay, so I'm going to work hard because I love dogs. I think they're pretty remarkable. So here's I'll just jump right into this. Can I tell you a story about myself?
Yeah.
I had a beloved dog, and in fact, I used to tell my wife, this dog was in my bed long before you were. So let's just get priorities straight, right? That dog, she was an old basset hound. She smelled so bad. Shared a pillow with me. I mean, it's obnoxious, but that dog was incredible. And when I moved, that dog moved with me. That dog was ride or die. Disgusting, gross, all the things you would think a 21-year-old guy, just you walk into their apartment, you're like, what is this? It was that. But I love that dog. And then we got another basset hound named Baxter, and that dog was rad too. Molly died before we had kids, and Baxter was still around when I had Hank. Mm-hmm. And that's right when I was learning about trauma and how it works and what is the best way to navigate some of this, especially with little kids. So I'll tell you about something that happened. Got news that Baxter was not going to make it. And very similar. And so I called a buddy, and we were going out to his ranch that day, just the kids to run around. And I was at the veterinarian's office, and I'd taken the dog in, and we're going to put the dog down. And something felt weird. And so I called him and said, hey, would it be weird if I'm with the vet now, we're going to put the dog down. And then I brought the dog out to the ranch, we buried him there. And I said, is that weird? I know there's kids running around. And he's a rancher. He's very, very, very wise. And he said something that stuck in my soul. He got quiet and said, if you don't take this opportunity to teach your son about death, you failed him. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, hey, that's a little bit harsh. That's just how ranchers talk to each other, right? And so I got out to the ranch. We put the dog down, and I held the dog through the whole thing. And I think that's really important, by the way, is that you hold that dog through that season. My kid was not there for that moment.
Okay.
That was a lot. But when I got out to the ranch, my buddy had set out one big shovel for me and one little shovel for my son. And we both dug the grave together. And there's a physical component to grief. We prayed for that dog. And we talked about the fun and the joy that dog had brought us, the tender moments, the hugs, the things that we were going to miss. And my son watched me tear up. And then I had to answer some hard questions, like, Daddy, are we going to put the dirt on top? And as he was processing, oh, this is it. This is it. There's a finality to it. And my buddy in the distance, it's my single most prized possession outside of humans, took a photo, and it's of a couple 100 yards away of me and my son digging that grave together. And I'll keep that as long as I live. It was an important moment for me as a dad and as somebody who teaches about grief and who walks through hard stuff with people. Mm-hmm. So what I would tell you is the last great gift this dog will give to you is to create a touchstone moment for you and your son especially, but even your 2.5-year-old, that will ride through the next 5, 10, 15 years of y'all's life. Because here's what happened in our home. Just a few years later that my granddad passed away. Mm-hmm. And I was able to point back to, hey, remember when? Yeah. And then my grandmother passed away. Hey, remember when? And so Baxter's legacy through our family has been significant. Mm-hmm. And it was hard, and it was absolutely right and good. And so what I would tell you is, as my friend Rachel Cruz says, share, don't scare. So be honest. You don't have to be overly detailed. And I don't think a 4-year-old should be in there when they give your dog a shot or anything like that. I do think if at all possible, if y'all can bury your dog together, I think that's really important. I think that's a neat moment. And it will be heavy, it will be hard, and there will be tears, and there will be hugs, and there will be lots of hard questions. I probably wouldn't have my 2.5-year-old out there just because there's some gaps there developmentally. But I would tell him that the dog's really, really sick and that the dog's going to die and it's not going to be here anymore. And then when she asks questions, it's a matter of fact stuff. It's bending down and looking your 2-year-old in the eye and saying, remember he died and he's not here anymore and we really miss him. And then she may say, I really miss him too. And it's good for her to see mom miss. So what's this dog's name? Jack. Yeah. Tell me one awesome thing about Jack.
Oh man. He's like your Basset. He's a mama's boy. He lays on my pillow. He is.
I guarantee you, Jack smells better than Molly did, for sure.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Can I ask you? Would you tell him ahead of time that it's happening, or would you wait until?
I think that's up to you guys. I think that's. Okay. I don't think there's a right way or wrong way to do that. I would probably. Let him know that I have to take the dog to the dog doctor, to the veterinarian's office, because he's very, very sick. Okay. And then when we go there, we can let him know that he died there. He died there. Oh. And then, again, asking hard questions, we gave him a shot to make him feel better because he was hurting so much. Mm-hmm. And he goes to sleep and gently dies. And be direct with your language, not evasive, not passed away. That doesn't mean anything to a 4-year-old. Mm-hmm. Making sure you say the words, Jack died.
Right.
And it was Jack's time. Jack was sick, very, very sick, and his body got tired. And I would avoid, he didn't feel good, so we gave him a shot. I think a 4-year-old might internalize the next time he gets a cough, like, he's going to be hiding under his bed or something from mom, right? But give him the gift of learning the hard realities of life, and that people we love and things we love and pets we love pass away. They die. And that mom's going to be there and walk alongside us through this whole situation. So, Sarah, I know this is a show about people, but my heart's broken for you guys. I'm glad that you had that experience with Jack. Hey, can I tell you this one more thing?
Yes.
It's a strange thing about dogs. And I'm intentionally not talking about cats because I think cats are evil. I think they're the worst animal ever created. And I know there's a few cat listeners of this show, so send me your mean tweets. I don't even know how Twitter works, so tweet away. But dogs, man, cats maybe too, but they live that 8 to 12 year time period. And they tend to mark decades for us, right? It tends to be during college and then the first job, or when I met my significant other through the dating, and then the first couple of hard years of trying to figure out how we're going to be married together, or couldn't have kids and then tried and then had kids in the first couple of years. So they mark seasons. And often when our dog passes away, it's as though it's a page turn in our home just because of that decade time. Does that make sense? So you're going to miss Jack Jack, and you're going to have this heavy realization that you're in a new season of life. Does that make sense? Honor that for yourself, because it's real and it's heavy. It's hard.
Yeah.
And are you married?
Yes.
And you got 2 little ones?
2 little ones.
Yeah, there's a very real reality that will set in that this is the new world. Mm-hmm. There's no going back. It's not just you and your husband and Jack Jack going on hikes or staying up too late, or Jack being like, hey, what's going on back there, right? All that's over. Now you got 2 little kids. And so you're in that season now, and there's something about grieving. Man, there's the end of party time. And now I'm just mom with 2 kids and husband. And now we get to recreate some new adventure going forward. But it just, I don't know, there's something about that decade time period. It just tends to be snapshots. And I've just, been so fortunate to have some ride or die old dogs that have been with me in these just snapshot seasons. And I don't know, I just think dogs are amazing. So good for you, Sarah, for giving Jack Jack the mama who loved him. I'm glad he protected you from knucklehead husband and brought you through with 2 little ones. What a magical journey. And high five to you in the new season. Build something great.